Our brains are under attack. Our brains are under attack. That's what's happening. I want to read a quote. We're doing the Brain Saver books right here, you guys. Check this out. If you're someone who wakes up in the morning and shakes their head, wondering why there's a lack of answers out there for the chronically suffering, now you understand why, because you've read the Brain Saver books. You're learning the answers. You're learning the truth so you can do something about your health and your family's health, because your family's health is critical. It's important by knowing what that critical truth is. That, for one, toxic heavy metals are saturating our brains and we can remove them to enjoy a better quality of life. We supersede the machine. We rise above the so-called authority of our well-being so that well-being is in our own hands. We rise above the machine. So I want to talk a little bit about we're in the Brain Saver books, you guys. Let me pop these down right here really quick. So I'm in a section right here, chapter 15, the Brain Saver book. Both of these Brain Saver books are just absolutely phenomenal. Packed with information, you guys know, and you got the brain shot therapies and everything else. This section's called Evolving Backwards, and I was talking a little bit about our brain and our immune system earlier before, right? But now I'm talking about a couple of other things. So let's go into it a little bit. We think humans are evolving and advancing, right? We think humans are advancing and evolving. We know that's not true. What's really evolving are the toxic chemicals we're exposed to. The EMF we're exposed to. That's what's evolving. We're up against the pathogens we're exposed to. That's what's evolving. We're up against brain betrayers. Our brain becomes betrayed. Designed by industries to supposedly make our lives better. So they say they're trying to make our lives better, but yet they betray us. We confuse the long-standing theory that humankind is evolving with the advancements in technology that we see all around us. So we're thinking there's so much technology. I'm here talking to you because of technology. Technology means, whoa, technology is advancing, then everything's advancing. Then we're getting more chronically ill and chronically sick. That's what's incredible about it all. We see advancements in life-saving surgical medicine too, right? Advancements in how far we can reach into space with our telescope. Whoa, that's all technology. It gives us the misperception that humankind is getting ahead by leaps and bounds. In some ways that may be true when it comes to technology. But what about our physical brains? So let's go into that. What about our physical brains and bodies? What about the physical existence of humankind? Is that evolving? Just want to ask you, is humankind evolving? Life expectancy will decrease. Did you know I was the only, oh my God, I hate saying this. I was the only one that said it was decreasing all these decades. And they're like, no, life expectancy is better than ever. It's better than ever. All the clinics are saying so. Medical research and science is saying life expectancy is incredible. It's only getting better. And I was like, no, it's not. They're just not telling anybody. They're not telling anybody that actually it's not. It was decreasing all along, and now it is decreasing. It has dropped. It's out there. It has dropped. Life expectancy will decrease at a gradual pace during this decade, and then life expectancy will decrease at an unprecedented, drastic pace over the next decade and beyond. What's going to happen here, and I'm reading out of the Brain Saver books, life expectancy, I hate being kind of a bummer, but after 10 years, it's going to decrease at a drastic pace, Over the next decade and beyond, at drastic pace. Already the new normal is to struggle with symptoms, whether you identify as sick or not. Everybody has a symptom. Everybody has a symptom. Everybody has something. Acne, stuffy nose all the time, an allergy, asthma, aches and pains, stomach problem, acid reflux. Everybody has a symptom. Tiredness, fatigue, headaches, whatever it is. they have a symptom. Eating disorders, whatever it is, they have a symptom. Virtually every human being on the planet experiences at least one symptom at this point where we stand right now in history. So right now in history, at this point, every single human being on the planet does experience at least one symptom. There are different levels from very mild to devastatingly severe symptoms. You guys know about that. There's the not so sick group, those who are experiencing symptoms and still functioning. You see them out there. They're all at the stores. They're filing into the drug stores. They're in the grocery store. You think everybody's fine and dandy in the grocery store? Everybody's got a symptom. I know so. They all have a symptom or more. Those who are experiencing symptoms and still functioning, working, being productive, even playing all day, if they have that privilege of playing all day, there's people out there that have the privilege of playing all day. They could play. Doesn't matter. They could be big trust funders. They can play. So either way, they still have a symptom. Then there's the sick group, those who are frightfully ill out there, those for whom each day is about surviving. And then there's people that are really struggling and suffering, and they're just trying to survive. This increase in sickness like never before is only going to keep developing over time. In the next 10 years, and this 10 years here, worse, the next 10 years, drastic. So are we evolving in the right direction or backwards? That's the question right here the book's asking. Are our physical bodies any different than they were in ancient Rome 2,500 years ago? And if you believe that we have evolved since then, are we evolving faster than what's evolving around us now that's destroying us? So we're up against so much. Toxins more than ever before, the pathogens more than ever before, the heavy metals more than ever before, and the list goes on. We need to be aware that we are going backwards, not forwards, but nobody cares. You guys do. With their physical health. In the next 1 to 5 years, we're going to see chronic illness rise to levels no one could ever imagine. So in the next 1 to 5 years, we're going to see chronic illness rise to a level no one ever imagined before. You guys, I'm reading out of the Brain Saver books. Brain Saver and Brain Saver Protocols, 2 very heavy books. I'm sorry about that, about them being so heavy and everything. I'm going to bring this over a little bit. So, and that's because instead of our bodies advancing, everything wrong about the world is evolving. You guys know it's out there. Environmental pollution is evolving. The ocean is becoming more toxic. The Great Pacific Garbage Patch is becoming bigger. The chemical industry is evolving, creating new chemical soups by the hour around the world, around the clock. The pharmaceutical industry is evolving, even overreaching and controlling the nutraceutical industry and not always evolving in our best interests. Pathogens are evolving, more and more new strains of pathogens that have been released from labs over the last 100 years and keep people sick with chronic illness are mutating and strengthening as we pass those pathogens around to each other, whether through our family line or any other means of exposure. Everything's evolving around us, but the industries and the world of health is not saying, hey, we have to do something about it. We got to protect our brain. We have to take care of our brain. We have to look out for our health. Not doing that. Instead, it's all gimmicky, trendy stuff. It's like, take your omega-3s. Make sure you do your probiotics. Make sure you take your vitamin D, right? And it's all about that. And medicine is not evolving enough to keep up with everything. That's why there's hundreds of symptoms with no answers. And there's hundreds of symptoms where people are struggling and suffering, and it's like the lotto in a way to get some relief out there. Maybe you'll get relief for a second, maybe you won't. That's very difficult. So the world of sickness is getting worse. The attack on our brains is evolving, but our brains are not evolving enough to override the attack. So we need help and support. The Brain Saver books are that. Anyway, look, I want to go into this a little bit. I could go on. There's so many different things in here. There's your pain and suffering enlightened, as I was talking about the other day. There's over 300 symptoms, conditions in these books. right? There's recipes. So I didn't talk about the recipes yet. I talked about the brain shot therapy, but I do want to get into the recipes a little bit. So let me grab the book here and take a look. So what you'll find in these books is a massive recipe book inside these incredible books. So we have a lot of information. So you got over 100 recipes in here. That's a brain detox tonic right there I just opened up to, which is incredible all on its own. So if anything, if you just worked off the recipes, it can better your life. Because the recipes are geared for the brain, for healing the brain and body, specifically geared towards the brain, getting the brain what it needs. This one's called the Brain Armor Salad, which is really incredible all on its own. The Brain Armor Salad, which is really exciting too. I'm just giving you a rundown on just some of the stuff that's inside here. These are the Brain Saver wraps, and you'll notice the wrap is lettuce, right? Instead of something else, instead of something like corn or wheat or something else. There's so many incredible recipes that I'm going to be making some of these recipes with you guys, which I'm really excited about. So when you have your Brain Saver books, it's going to be really fun to make the recipes together. So I'm excited about that. I want you to know that that's one of my goals, is actually to cook with you guys, make the recipes out of the Brain Saver books, and while you guys are making the recipes out of the Brain Saver books. So that's going to be really fun all on its own. So I wanted to give you guys a little heads up as where we're going, which is really cool. So the recipes are really incredible all on their own. And then there's a soul healing, like a soul brain and soul rehabbing section in the protocols book. So brain and soul rehabbing in here. So there's meditations in here. And I'm so excited because I can't wait for you guys to try those meditations, which are really powerful. It's really exciting. So the protocols book, I didn't show you enough of the protocols book, right? Over 300 symptoms, conditions with protocols, which is incredible. So the whole point is allowing you to be able to choose what you need because you're different than someone else. Customize what you need to move yourself forward. Now, I'm going to go into the heavy metal detox cleanses a little bit. You guys know about the heavy metal detox cleanse, the medical medium heavy metal detox cleanse. Now we have 7 levels. The brain books have the heavy metal detox cleanses, which is really exciting, in the 7 different levels. Then there's an extractor smoothie too. So there's also an advanced extractor and an extractor. These are incredible tools that are going to be so helpful. Valerie says rehabs, need them. Patty says ordered both books, can't wait for them to arrive. So now I'm in the brain shot therapies. I'm just giving you guys a quick look through there, a little quick tour. So I'm going to put this on up here for a little bit so you can see the books, right? So I'm going to give you a quick little tour on the books. So now I'm in a brain shot therapies. I know everybody's starting to try the brain shot therapies. So I just want to give you that forewarning. If you just got here, it's the first live you caught talking about Brain Saver. The brain shot therapies are quick acting, fast acting for quick relief. But they're intense and you'll experience that. Now, people are not used to immediate relief in alternative medicine. It's really, really rare. And Medical Medium Books creates this situation where you heal and you get relief, where you get relief and heal. But the brain shot therapies are even more intense. And so when you do experience them, this one's the trauma, shock, and loss stabilizer. When you do experience them, I don't want you caught off guard because you're going to feel it when you actually use these brain shot therapies. So I just don't want you caught totally off guard. I want you to be just in the knowing of what's happening. So Allison has a question, Extractor, is that better than the heavy metal detox smoothie? No, it's not better than the heavy metal detox smoothie. It's part of the heavy metal detox cleanse. So you can actually choose to do the extractor. You don't have to. There's 7 levels, and you can do the extractor if you want. That's what's incredible about it. Someone else may not need the extractor. Somebody else can use the extractor. What happens is when you'll see reading in here that Spirit of Compassion was basically trying to get a sense from 1 billion people on the planet. because it's not, medical medium was never one size fits all. It's not like all the different programs out there or whatever, health trendy diets. Those are all one size fits all. You go into it, it's one size fits all, right? These are for everybody to be able to customize. You can do the extractor. You don't have to do the extractor, but it's there for you to move that needle if you need it. You got the heavy metal detox smoothie, you can just do that. But you can also do the advanced heavy metal detox smoothie and then the 7 levels of heavy metal detox where there's other things to do that are recommended in that level. So it's really comprehensive and you can find your way and find what feels and works best for you. Because you're different than another person. And why are you different? Because you have different things going on. So there's something called the nerve gut acid stabilizer. That's one of the brain shot therapies. I love that one for people. I know people are going to benefit so much for that. Suntower's Healing, you actually did that stabilizer? You did the trauma, shock, and loss stabilizer? Incredible. Relationship breakups stabilizer is a great one all on its own. So that one there, I'm just showing you really quick what they look like. So that's the relationship breakup stabilizer. Sleep and recharging stabilizer, that's a great one. Speaking your truth stabilizer. There's so many people that feel like, there's so many people who feel like they have a difficult time speaking their truth. And they're looking to actually hone their purpose. There's a wisdom and intuition stabilizer, which is really powerful. And so the dream shifter, that's incredible all on its own. So I don't know if you guys keep track of your dreams, if your dreams mean anything to you. A lot of people don't dream, and then there's a lot of people who have nightmares, and there's a lot of people that wish they had better dreams. And there's also people that want to find messages in their dreams too. There's also people that want to be reached by loved ones in their dreams. They want to be reached by people in their dreams too. They want to connect spiritually in their dreams. Their dreams mean a lot because dreams do mean a lot for sure. So this is the Dreams Shifter. I recommend trying the Dream Shifter someday because get ready for that. I mean, that's a really incredible one all in its own. So there's 30 brain shots, but there's 7 brain shot therapy cleanses. So the craving shifter, I know so many of you struggle. Now we're going into the holidays, and I want to talk about this for a little bit. We're heading into the holidays. You got the Halloween candy coming up, and then we got Thanksgiving coming up, depending on where you are in the world and such. And then you got Christmas coming up. And then, so either way, the holidays are on, and then New Year's, right? You got the New Year. So you got the holidays coming up for everybody. And there's a bunch of holidays I haven't even mentioned that I haven't got the chance. But the point is there's holidays all over the world, everywhere. And what happens is we end up having like craving problems. So we end up like eating whatever we can, like cakes, cookies, donuts, whatever it is, or overeating or eating things that we're not supposed to be eating so much, especially if we're struggling, we're chronically sick, and we know we're maybe not supposed to eat certain things because we've learned. But the craving shifter is something that I recommend for the holidays. So that alone is incredible in the book, in the Brain Saver books, is the craving shifter. I mean, be the judge on that one. Try that one and whoa, Friend of mine right now is doing that one like on and off all day. Now, a lot of people have food fear. They've developed it along the way. They have food fear for a lot of reasons, maybe eating disorders or food fear. That one right there is something that you might want to try if you're a food fear kind of, like if you're in that zone where you're kind of stuck. A lot of people need their energy shifted. So it's not just about fatigue. That's a whole nother thing too. You could use it for that. But the point is this energy shifter, that's a great one too. So it says at the midpoint of a long day when you're desperate for an energy boost, that like long day that's hitting you, or when you feel unbalanced as if you don't have enough energy, the energy shifter is good for that. If you're feeling that your energy is off and you're not on point, right? Or someone says something to you and you're like, why are you like you are right now? Like, What's going on? Are you okay? Are you okay? Do the energy shifter. If you feel like you have too much energy and you're hoping to calm down and, kind of like de-escalate, right? So there's that thing too, where you're just like, the energy is like going, but then you're going to burn out. So you might want the energy shifter so you can like burn it just right. So you don't just blow all your energy in one shot. If you're removing caffeine from your life, do the energy shifter. So that's one right there. So if you're trying to get rid of the caffeine, you're trying to break the coffee addiction, you're trying to break the cacao addiction, the chocolate addiction. When you want to wind down at the end of the day so you can recalibrate, because you come home or it's the end of the day and you're already home, but you're feeling really weird. So it's the end of the day. You feel kind of like confused or lost, or you're not kind of feeling quite right, or your energy's low at the end of the day. You want to recalibrate before the night moves on. That's another time to use it. The energy shifter is also ideal for overreactive or underreactive adrenals. So if you got some like overreacting adrenals, underreacting, adrenals, sorry. Got a lot of words going on in my brain and mouth right here. And so low blood sugar, that's another one too. Hypoglycemia, sensations such as edginess, exhaustion, feeling emotional for unexplained reasons, or you're getting triggered really easily. So check that out. So the energy shifter is great if you're feeling like you're getting triggered, like easily triggered. Like you're just like, oh my God, I can't handle this. Everybody's triggering me. So that's a whole another reason to use that. These are so great. Then there's the nerve shifter. So I want to talk about the nerve shifter just for a couple of minutes, which is really powerful on its own. I don't know if you guys had a chance to try this one. When you're feeling shaky or anxious, like have you ever felt anxious or shaky? So it's not just the normal anxiety. You're dealing with anxiety too, but you're shaky. You got like the shakes. If you experience random spasms, twitches, tics, or shifting and moving pain throughout your body, like, the random spasms and the twitches and the tics and all of that, when you're struggling with any kind of neurological onset or episode. So the nerve shifter, a lot of people that they'll have their neurological symptoms, neurological problems. Maybe, you're just in a place where you have all this stuff going on and you want to do something because you're getting into an episode. So there's a nerve episode coming on and you want to use the nerve shifter. That's a big deal right there on its own. To break a nervous feeling about the moment you're in. So if you're in this moment, you got this nervous feeling going on, just get the nerve shifter out. The future or something that happened in the past. So if you're thinking about something that happened in the past and it's bothering you, like, why did I say that? Why did I say that to that person? Like, what was I thinking? I don't know how it even came out of my mouth, but it did. Get the nerve shifter out because now you're focused on that and you're really upset. You're worried about it. To calm restless leg syndrome. So if you got restless leg syndrome, if you can't, deal with, if you can't deal with the restless legs because it's getting out of control, you're having an episode, you're trying to get to sleep, do the nerve shifter. And then if you're going to take a flight somewhere or you're taking a trip, that's another time to use the nerve shifter too. That's incredible. The nerve shifter is also an excellent tool to use for weddings and other events that have great meaning to you. So it's like send out a nerve shifter before you go to your friend's party or whatever it is. So these are really potent. These are really powerful. And what you're going to find is you're going to like some so much that you're going to just keep them there, but always know that there's these other ones you can always try. And then you might be surprised, like, whoa, that just hit me like it did. This is a big one. I talked about it a little bit the other day. Obsessive thoughts shifter. This is a huge one right here. Mind racing thoughts. You can't fall asleep. You can't rest. You don't feel at peace because the thoughts are coming in and they keep on coming in, or they're doing this. The vicious cycle. They're just spinning around in your head. The thoughts are moving around in your head. They're just in your brain, going, swimming around, or they feel like it's painful and it's repetitive. It's just repetitive and you can't get rid of those thoughts and you're stuck with them. Could be anything. And maybe somebody or something triggered you so it became worse. And now you got those obsessive thoughts and it's much worse and you're struggling with it. That can happen too. The obsessive thoughts shifter. Love it. So let me give you a couple of things about it right here that's really incredible because this is one of my favorites for people because I see so many people struggle out there. Try this shot when you're trying to break repeated painful thought patterns resulting from a difficult situation or hardship. If you're under a hardship, stressful situations, anything like that, this can help break that pattern. There's a question I want to read here. Meditation and breathing are proven to reduce long-term nerve feelings. It would be nice if he discussed all strategies instead of just a drink. Okay, so first of all, something you have to understand. When people have neurological problems, tightness in the chest, skin's burning, they're having panic attacks, the last thing they need to be doing is intense breathing exercises. So I'm not trying to say you're not experienced. I'm not trying to say you don't have experience, whatever it is. I'm not trying to be judgmental or anything. But it's critical to know that people who have asthma, people that have neurological asthma, people that have gastroparesis, nerve-related, people who have trigeminal neuralgia, people that have vertigo and dizziness, people that have balance issues. Are you following me? Because I saw that question. I want to read that. Balance issues, dizziness, vertigo. People that are struggling where they're very weak and they're fatigued with neurological fatigue. Let's keep on going. People that have numbness in their fingers and hands. Real physical neurological problems, which the chronically ill suffer from. You can't sit there and do all that intense breathing exercise. You'll end up, possibly in the hospital with a massive panic attack, up all night because your nerves are jacked up now. And then you'll also create too much brain heat. So when you read the book, you'll read about that. It's not that I don't want you to breathe if you don't want to breathe. That's not it at all. And it's not that a deep breath in a meditation is a bad thing. But breathing exercises are for the not so sick or the people who aren't sick yet. That's what that's for. If you have experience with health, experience with other ones that are sick, and I have decades of experience here, I know for a fact, through decades of experience, tingles, numbness, dizziness, balance issues, asthma, neurological asthma, tightness in the chest, tightness in the throat, trigeminal neuralgia, gastroparesis, stomach problems, you can't sit there and do all that breathing exercise stuff. You do it, you're going to be hurting. So I just want you to think before you throw stuff out there, because it sounded like it was a little snarky, like I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm just trying to get you to drink a drink, and and you're going to teach me something here. You're going to teach me that why doesn't he just have all that great breathing exercise stuff? If it was that great, I'd be tooting it for decades for people. When you read the books, you will learn about how the balances go off when you do the heavy breathing exercises and how your oxygen levels go off the chart and start to eat up neurons. You have to understand, very important information is in these brain books, helping you and protecting you from serious breathing exercises when you're not feeling well. It's critical to know. I'm not anti-taking some breaths in. I'm not anti-breathing deeply. I'm not anti-breathing in a meditation. But heavy breathing exercises does not work with the chronically sick with neurological problems. And in 10 years, there's so many people that are going to have neurological problems. And they're going to learn as they try breath work that it's going to tank them and send them down the drain. So, and I get it. I'll probably lose a couple of followers that aren't really sick and they don't have the neurological problems. They don't have the true vagus nerve issues and trigeminal nerve issues and facial nerve issues. And I get it. They'll probably be like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But when you get sick someday, really sick, and you got neurological symptoms, mark my words here, you'll be picking up the Brain Saver book and you'll be reading it and being like, why didn't I know this 5 years ago? And why did I think I knew everything? I'm going to read you a little section right here on page 84. Let me see. It's 84. I think it's in the Brain Saver book. So I want to read a little something for you. So let me go to page 84. 84. Let's go. I think it's in here. And it is. So if you got a second, the person who was complaining that there's not enough breath work in the books, There's only life-saving information in the medical medium books that have saved people's lives. Okay. Taking care with breath work. Get ready. I want to read a little something here. So let me just find it here. Okay. Here's what an imbalance of electrical brain supplies in the bloodstream looks like in practice. I'll just go one more time. You ready? This is advanced information. The person who was throwing the breath work at me, can you follow along? Here's what an imbalance of electrical brain supplies in the bloodstream looks like in practice. In the bloodstream, ready? If someone already has crippling anxiety and they're not eating even close to the balance of foods and liquids they need to keep their glucose and water levels high in the bloodstream, you following me with that? And then they go through some type of emotional turmoil, their adrenaline will be elevated. Get this. Their glucose and water will be reduced, and their breathing will be increased. Follow me? Driving in more oxygen to the brain. Heightened oxygen and heightened adrenaline creating elevated heat on the brain's electrical grid without glucose and water to suppress the heat can even lead to hyperventilation in some situations. It's why people who do breath work, who have neurological problems, end up in a big problem, a massive big problem. I hope the person with the breath work judgment at me is still listening. And if they're not, I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you'll just leave because it's all free, because we do everything free, so it's probably not valuable. Okay. So let's go into this. Heightened oxygen and heightened adrenaline creating elevated heat on the brain's electrical grid without glucose and water to suppress the heat could even lead to hyperventilation in some situations. The electrical sparks, check this out. The electrical sparks on the grid run hotter and more sporadically and can even go rogue. With brain electricity becoming reckless, the electrical grid becomes extra hot and travels to places it's not supposed to travel in the brain for what is occurring in the person's life. This can take a person to the level of being completely overwhelmed, push them into a panic attack, or shut them down so they're less responsive, lying curled up in bed feeling wrecked. I'm trying to talk about what happens with breath work, where literally it can throw somebody into a horrible panic attack. I'm giving you the actual medical medium science into how that can happen. That's so far advanced past science and past anybody who's into breath work. I always told you guys, I'm not smart. I'm just a messenger with this advanced information. The balances get off when someone doesn't have enough electrolytes and glucose in their brain, so the balance goes off, and they don't have enough water, electrolyte, and glucose in their brain, and that's what happens. People that are chronically ill don't have enough of that in them, and people who aren't chronically ill don't have enough of that in them either. Taking care with breath work. So let's walk down that aisle a little bit if you guys got a second. We're often taught to use breath work to help regulate emotions. Deep breathing and breath work, certain types of it, do have some value. I'm not negating breathing. I'm not saying breathing's bad. I'm not saying you can't do a little breath work. But at the same time, breath work is not what people think it is. What people don't realize is that there is such a thing as too much oxygen. Even though we're in a world lacking oxygen, we're also in a world where people are lacking what they need in their diet. If you're not keeping a balance with other brain supplies such as glucose, trace mineral salts, and water, then driving up oxygen to your brain heats up your electrical grid, and that can be traumatizing to the brain and body. On top of which, people are often doing breath work while also consuming caffeine, which drives up adrenaline, putting their brain and bloodstream further out of balance. What I'm trying to say, this is really like incredible information here, is that it's advanced information. If you don't have what your brain needs and you're chronically sick and you're sitting there trying to drive in oxygen to the brain through breath work, the nerves can't handle it. The brain heats up and the nerves can't handle it. Throws you into panic attacks, throws you into anxiety, makes the skin burn worse. Can cause a lot of tremors, tics and spasms everywhere. It's like oxygen to a fire. And you don't want the fire burning that hot while you're doing your breath work, especially if you're suffering with any kind of symptom or condition. Ready? If you guys got a second. Like many trends in health, breath work is a tool for the not so sick. Did you hear that? Like many trends in health, breath work is a tool for the not so sick. If symptoms haven't sidelined you in life, that means you're not so sick yet. You're just not so sick. If symptoms haven't sidelined you in life, you can bring breath work in and have fun with it. I'm not anti it to the point where I'm anti it. If you haven't been sick yet and you want to play with it, be my guest. You can bring breath work in and have fun with it. If you're really sick or struggling, and here's a key fact, and that person is one size fits all. I hate to say it, but everybody seems to be the one size fits all out there. It's really sad because we got a whole bunch of people on here watching this that aren't one size fits all. They're sick. Their problems aren't one size fits all. If you're really sick or struggling, breath work isn't going to fix you. That's a fact. If you're really sick and struggling, and you got bad fibromyalgia, and you got chronic fatigue syndrome, and you got ME/CFS, and you got lupus, and you got neurological Lyme, and you got 20 neurological symptoms, and you're really sick, and your life has been derailed, breath work is not going to fix you. I'm sorry, but it won't. And it's amazing when I see people out there like teaching as if it's going to fix people. It doesn't. Breath work isn't going to fix you. Breath work is really difficult for people with anxiety and even worsens it for most anxiety sufferers. Heidi M says, I signed up for a breath work class webinar and realized halfway through it was not for me. Thank you, Anthony and SOC. Valerie, I taught yoga and breath work and had someone have a panic attack in my class. But remember, the person that was judging me on this was going for one size fits all. Lynn Goss, I had a breathwork practitioner come to my home and I passed out. He said it was out for over 5 minutes because the brain got intensely hot and the neurons had an attack. This is advanced information. This is the Brain Saver books. This is information isn't out there. This is advanced info. No one's ever heard of it. It's going to get stolen and poached tonight with me just talking about it. I'm sure there's someone that's got a devious heart sitting behind here watching this free information that I'm not charging for, and they're probably watching and they're going to go out and next thing you know, they'll be invited on somebody's podcast and spreading it around and not citing it back to medical medium. It's a sick world. I never expected it to be that sick, meaning demented and evil and dark. I never expected that when I was a kid. I thought everybody was going to be happy and loving and want the info and do the right thing. It doesn't work that way. They'll poach it so no one else can find their way backward to heal. Breath work is really difficult for people with anxiety and even worsens it for most anxiety sufferers. It worsens it for anxiety sufferers. Stick a bunch of people who aren't feeling well in a breath work class and you got a whole bunch of sick people. Holly's Health. I almost passed out from it and I was crying. I've seen people damaged and injured by it. That's why you don't see me recommending breath work out there. Allison Starr. Holy crap, so true! Explanation points. I struggle with anxiety and breath work. It makes me feel awful. It actually hurts people more than helps them. People who are not so sick, who don't get affected by it yet, it's still hurting them. They're just not feeling the hurt yet, but they will later down the road. So the person who judged me on this, I hope they're still watching, you'll see there's a lot of people that are going to get hurt down the road by it. Really great. You know better. You know more than me. Breath work is really difficult for people with anxiety and even worsens it for most anxiety sufferers, especially those with sensitive vagus nerves. Sensitive vagus nerves. I'm reading out a Brain Saver, you guys. Do you know how many people have sensitive vagus nerves? So let's go do a breath work class and let's just make our vagus nerves freak out and so we end up in the hospital overnight. Causing neurological symptoms such as tightness of the chest. And remember, breath work was something that came about over a dude that was never sick, had symptoms, but not sick neurologically. So it's like a dude thing. Breath work was initially a dude thing. it was a dude thing, and then it eventually got into the yoga community and everything else. Yoga wasn't really all breath work. 30 years ago, yoga wasn't all about breath work. Yes, breath work was involved, but now they're mixing it now. It's like breath work, and they get all these people that are just like they can't handle it, so they quit yoga because they're confused. You don't have to do all that intense breath work to do a little bit of yoga. Breath work is not going to make lupus, neurological Lyme, eczema, fibromyalgia, Parkinson's, or MS go away. You can bring in simple, gentle breathing. Whoa, I'm pro breath work for a second. Check this out, you guys, in the Brain Saver book. Check this out. You can bring in simple, gentle breathing techniques if they feel supportive, and you're also staying hydrated and getting enough glucose, electrolytes, trace minerals, and macro minerals such as magnesium, and trying to stay off caffeine. If you're staying off caffeine and you bring in trace minerals and macro minerals, and you're getting enough glucose and electrolytes, and you're staying hydrated, you can enjoy a little bit of breath work. But no one's talking about how to do it right or how you can do it if you're sick. The books are packed with life-saving information and brain-protecting information. Anyone who just got to health like a few years ago and now they're an expert and they want to try to school me, get the brain books, because you can't make this stuff up. This is complicated, critical information, comprehensive information from above. Brain shot therapy is a physical tool to assist the physical body. The body doesn't only survive on oxygen. So you want to be a breatharian and just die somewhere in a desert? So oxygen is how we only survive. We only survive with oxygen. That's it. So quit your tonics. Don't do brain shot therapy. Don't do heavy metal detox cleanses. Don't do celery juice. Don't do any kind of supplementation. Just do oxygen and just die in a desert somewhere. Michelle L., none of that crap helped me ever. And you went through a lot, Michelle. I've seen comments before. Sunrid, yes, that's me. My vagus nerve stress out with breath work. And that's what they don't understand. The breath work trashes the vagus nerves. But don't be afraid to breathe or do gentle breathing exercises if you want to incorporate that into your life. I talk about it in the Brain Saver books. Yeah. But there's a difference of what is happening here. Very important. But I love being schooled. 35 years of getting people better, 8 books that have saved millions of lives around the planet, but you want to school me. People get adrenaline high from heavy breath work, and that's the next thing I want to talk about. Read the books. I talk about it inside the books. People go on adrenaline highs when they do intense breath work, and they're not sick or suffering with all kinds of problems yet. I know people that actually weren't sick, doing breath work for a few years, feeling great, but then they got sick, and then they went to their old staple. I'm going to do my breath work and get myself better. But they were sick, and they didn't realize you can't mix the two. And they started doing their breath work, and they started doing it all, and they started following all the breath work kings, and they're doing it, and they ended up like this, seizuring on the ground, wondering why, and that they were literally at the doctor's office the next day going, what's wrong with me? And the doctor's like, what were you doing? It's like, oh, I was doing breath work. That wasn't the reason. They were sick. The breath work just ignited the fire. You have to smother a fire. Take the oxygen down. Too much oxygen to a fire makes it hotter and faster and spreads. And so what happens is when you have electricity in your brain, so let's go into it a little bit. This turned out to be a breathwork talk. When you have electricity in your brain swimming around, you got the match. That's your fire. If you don't have enough glucose and electrolytes and hydration inside the brain and glycogen storage is inside the brain, and you want to bring in all that oxygen, but you don't have anything else in there to keep the fire down, and you want to bring in the oxygen, you're going to blow that fire up, and your vagus nerves are going to be spasming out. You're going to be tightness of the chest. You're going to be all whacked out. You're going to be in a bad situation. And don't if you don't have the Brain Saver books and you're sitting here judging me and you want to throw breathwork nonsense at me, like, you know, and judge me on it, you don't even have these incredible books with all the life-saving medical information and stuff. You read 10 lines in just the first chapter and it's unbelievable how much info's in here. What people notice is medical medium info makes sense. It's very complex information, but it makes sense. So people don't realize that medical medium information makes so much sense all the time. All you have to do is just read it or be open to it. Look, I'm not picking on anybody for schooling me, but you got to kind of, know what you're talking about if you're going to school me. Medical medium information is not common sense. It's not common sense. It's sense that nobody knew. And then they learn, and it makes sense. Common sense is just crap out there. Oh, it's common sense. Oh, really? And then someone, gets hurt. Oh, I thought I was doing it right. The truth hits you when you read the Brain Saver books. The truth just hits you. It's just, whoa, it's there. Michelle L. says, it's insulting, AW, to you and to us. Yeah. But here's how it works, Michelle. That person or another person, they're just going to leave their comfort zone of not so sick, and they're going to get sick someday. And then they're going to get the medical medium books after they visit their 10th neurologist and 10th functional medicine doctor. They're going to get to the medical medium books, and you know what's going to happen? They're going to heal themselves, and they're still going to shit on the medical medium name and the medical medium community because they're just going to do it spitefully. They're going to do it behind the scenes, and they're not going to come clean on their mistakes, and they're just going to take the info and poach it for themselves, heal themselves, and still tote how apple cider vinegar did it, or some collagen did it, or some charcoal did it, or something else. Carrie Rose said, this happened to me. My chiropractor told me to do these big breath work exercises. I ended up crippled in pain in my neck and shoulders. Anxiety was so much worse. It's real. It's real, you guys. It's real. I've seen it mess people up. I've seen it mess people up for years. But it tells me that people don't have experience with the chronically ill then. How come I have to know all these things? It's like people don't have the experience then when they say things. They don't have the experience with the chronically ill all these years. It's obvious. They got into health who knows how many years ago, played around, bought an Eat Better diet book from some podcast doctor, and just got rid of their junk and processed food. They didn't have a lot of exposure, a lot of bugs in them, and they were like, okay, I got a free ride in life right now. I'm a health expert. Let's go, But it's insulting because it's real, this information and what's happening. Yeah, I can't even understand how anyone can do that. I know, but they do it by the hundreds and thousands out there. Death by 1,000 cuts. That's what they try to do out there. Oh, quick. Just cleaning your book kind of thing. Amazon has grease on their conveyor belts. It happens every book launch, every single book release, and everybody gets their books and they see, because these beautiful white covers and stuff like that, right? They see that there's marks all over it and they think they have a used book, and then they give me a 1-star review saying he gave me a used book, gave you a used book. A publisher gave pristine books to Amazon and other, other warehouses, and the conveyor belt got them dirty. So I wanted to say you can take a little dish soap with a damp towel and clean off your covers. Creative Heart says a lot of people wonder why they don't feel good after doing breath work. Thanks for explaining. Look, I like explaining. I like explaining what's in here, because this is where it's all at. That's what's incredible. So what I do is I take a handy wipe. Handy wipes tend to work good too. I got a kick me sign on my back is what I have. You guys know that. And it's just terrible. Anyway, but that's life, right? Boom. Handy wipe cleans the grease off. Wow, medical medium books come out nice and clean. the quality of medical medium books, the quality is incredible because I don't want any cheap stuff. You guys, can you leave some reviews for the Protocols book and for Brain Saver? Just so the trolls don't get ahead of us. And leave the illegal reviews. They don't buy the books. They don't purchase them and they leave reviews. It's evil. So if you can leave some reviews if you like the books, right? Just doing a quick little cleanup right here. And a reminder that these books were stored in a warehouse that had no plug-in air fresheners, no chemical toxins, none of that kind of stuff. And the publisher did that for me and my people. So if you do get a book that smells and needs to air out for a little while, it's not because of us. It's because of the scented candles in a warehouse somewhere else. Maybe whatever the chain that you got the store from, whatever it is. That's another story. So I'm just letting you know to air them out. But the books are pristine and were stored without that chemical that's always in those warehouses. Laundry detergents and stuff like that. None of that was stored around the medical medium books like everybody else's books. And it was done purposely to look out for you guys. A lot of thought goes into these incredible books. I just want you to know. A lot of thoughts go into it. I know I do a lot of lives and stuff like that. And I do the podcasts and lives and I do everything and there's no paywalls and stuff like that. I just don't want to ever create that. There's no courses. There's no this and that. I know that people poach bits and pieces from the medical medium books and they create their own courses out there in the world and add in all this bad stuff. And it's really a sad world out there. I think people are just desperate to be somebody. Whatever. I don't know. All I'm saying is that I'm keeping this stuff free. I hear every time, people tell me all the time, that if you make everything for free, people think it doesn't have value. I know you guys don't believe that, but that's what I'm told. Anyway, I'm keeping it free like I do. It's free wherever I can. If you need to wait someday down the road for the book to get into the library, which takes me time to get them into a library, then wait for that day. But these books are on sale right now on Amazon.com and Walmart. So that's another place right there. By the way, right now, Walmart's a great place to get the books right now. A fantastic place. I think the books they got a great sale on the books right now. So if you want a second book, if you guys want a second or third, like a second set for other people or for gifts, go to Walmart right now, Walmart online or whatever, or go in Walmart. They got the Medical Medium Brain Saver books and they're reduced in price in Walmart right now. So if you want a second set for friends, for Christmas, for the holidays, for anything that you're doing, for somebody's birthday, whatever, if you want a second set, the Walmart has a reduced price on the Brain Saver books right now, so you can order online there too. Senia says, how can we consult you? I don't do consults. I don't. Oh, look out for imposters, you guys. And there's imposters. And the imposters are getting people upset out there because they take their money and they say terrible things and they do terrible things. So there's imposters out there that do terrible things. And so then people go out and they'll say, they use imposters use my name, Anthony William, the medical medium. And then they try to get a consult with somebody. They tell the person, I'm going to fix you. And the person then does a consult with them. And then they do terrible, horrible things. And then the person who's been wronged goes online and says terrible, horrible things about me when I had nothing to do with it and I don't do consults. So keep an eye out for that. It's really sad. It's pretty sick beyond actually words. And please let others know. Right? So, on that note, I don't know what else there is to talk. Well, there's tons to talk about. Lots of stuff. But I hope you guys enjoy the books. And, when you get them in your hands, just know they're living words inside these books. The energy is in these books. You can feel it. You can feel it. It's there. And they're not dead books with dead words on the pages. And that is obvious when you hold them. Keep in mind, though, it's a lot of information, and every single line is packed with a message for everybody. Cold White Spring. I told somebody they were talking to a fake. They thought it was you. Yep. And then when someone gets wronged by that fake, they end up saying bad things about me. And then a whole bunch of people who are haters go, I knew he was bad. Exactly. We got something else on AW. Look what he did. He wronged this person. Uh-huh. Sure. Anyway, I love you guys. And I will see you next time. Look out. Keep your notifications on. I don't know if that helps, but keep them on. And I will talk to you guys again. Just know I care about you guys. I love you guys. And I know so many of you guys are suffering. Like, I want you to know that. I want to say one more thing before I go, if that's okay. I know I'm busy with trying to get you the information to show you the books and talk about it and give you whatever I can. But I also know you guys are struggling, many of you. Mattress Island, you've been through hell and back. And I know that a lot of people don't understand what it's like to be in your shoes. And when you feel hopeless and you feel like you have no answers and you're struggling and you've been through a lot and no one can relate to the hurt you have in your life and all that. Just know that I think about that all the time. I wake up in the morning thinking about that. I go to bed thinking about that for you guys. And I know so many of you struggle and it breaks my heart. It actually breaks my heart. I tell my family members how it breaks my heart all the time. And anyway, by the way, we're Brain Saver Day 3 right now, the challenge. Brain Saver Challenge Day 3. Day 4 is tomorrow, and we're doing the light infusion meditation. There'll be a little breathing in there if you want to, but you don't have to, but a little touch of it. It's not breath work. It's an incredible meditation. Check the link out in the description if you want to sign up. So there is a link. I saw somebody leave a comment saying, I can't sign up to the Brain Saver Challenge. It's too late. No, it's not too late. Sign up to the Brain Saver Challenge and be there tomorrow for the light infusion meditation. Be there for the light infusion meditation. For sure. Incredible. Courtney M.A. gonna make me cry. And I will see you tomorrow here because I am going to do another live and we'll just talk about the brain books. It's a lot of brain book right there. It's a lot of brain book right there. It's a lot of brain book right there. I was sitting here before I went on and I was kind of playing with the brain books and I was kind of like doing this a little bit. And I was sitting here kind of playing around with the brain books and I was just like, we were getting ready to do the show, and I was just having fun with my brain books here. Where's Fly on the Wall these days? Where is Fly on the Wall? Michelle L. Burned Out Brain was outstanding. Oh my God, you read the chapter, right? Burnout? Incredible. Oh no, you're talking about the Brain Saver Challenge, really? That's what you're talking about. Yeah, that was incredible. That was incredible. That was challenge 3. Challenge 4 tomorrow is the light infusion meditation. Anyway, and you guys, Medical Meme Podcast. Check it out at Apple Podcast. I released a new one last night. Was it last night? I'm trying to remember now. So much going on. I'm juggling 20 billion things. Kenneth says, I feel a robot coming. I do too. I do. Wait a minute, you guys. I'll just keep you guys on while I clean up everything and put everything away. I'm just going to put everything away while you guys are hanging out in the kitchen because I got to make some dinner soon and everything. And I'm just up there, robot, worst robot ever. But guess what? I had to do it. Love you guys greatly. I will see you tomorrow. I'm going to do the real robot tomorrow.